We tried a little drive yesterday and the clutch is still not right, so we're going to have another go at bleeding it today. Okay, I'm using an old phone as a camera. It doesn't have a very good battery, so I can't film for long at any time. We've tried bleeding before unsuccessfully. I think what must be happening is any air in the system travels back up here, and so I never quite get my system fully bled. Carsten in one of the comments suggested I run a pipe from the slave cylinder back up into here, and when that's no longer pumping air through, I know I've got it clear, which is a fine suggestion, but trying to find pipe for that was difficult. So I've just gone out and bought myself, because I don't have in the garage, I can't find any in the local shop, so I've just gone out and bought one of these easy bleeds. So this via a cap will get connected up to the master cylinder here, and then I'll use a spare tyre in order to pressurise it. So connect a spare tyre up to that. Need to check on what pressure in order to pressurise it, and that should, when I release the valve at the bottom, push new fluid in and through. So that's my understanding. And so what I'll do is make sure I have plenty of fluid in here, because there'll be more in this than there will be in my system, and so that should allow me to see all the air out. That's my plan, so that's what we're going to try. Right, so I've connected it up. I haven't put anything in there yet, but we've got it connected there. It says it's a maximum of 20 psi, so I have my tyre down here, and I've let it. Okay, sorry about that. We're having a real problem videoing. The battery on this old phone just died after a couple of minutes. So yesterday we did manage to bleed the clutch. We took it for a quick drive. Everything worked fine. We were going to take it out again today, but we have snow. So we're going to go and do a driving lesson with my son for his first time driving in the snow instead. So I'm still having trouble with my camera, and so I haven't been able to record driving, but I've got the clutch working fine, and I just took the car for a little drive, and my son noticed on the road these markings, or this petrol, and actually everywhere I've driven we've wandered along it and it's all there, so we have a problem which we're going to have to work out, but the driving's put me in a good mood to now progress on and do the rear suspension and the brakes and things like that as well. We took the car for a drive yesterday, changed gear fine, got up into third I think, just did a very quick drive, came back, suddenly realised we're either leaking fuel or oil based on the stain that was on the road and on the driveway. So we've cleaned that up today. We're now going to look for where that leak is and see if we can sort it. So if we just have a quick look underneath the car. So it's been sat here for 24 hours, so if there was something leaking I would really expect to see a puddle, and as we can see we've only got the one puddle, which is right there, and that is water. I've already checked, so I'm fairly confident it's not coming from there. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get some either cardboard or paper laid out underneath the car. I think I'll do cardboard so that doesn't soak through. And we're then going to turn the ignition on, not the engine, just the ignition, get the fuel pump going. What we should do is hear the fuel pump stop. If the fuel pump stops, then that means it's well, if it doesn't stop, it means it's still pumping, which means it's leaking somewhere. If it does stop, then that means it's when the engine's running. At least this is my logic. Okay, so that's going to be our first step to try to diagnose this. Right, I have the ignition on, and we did hear, hopefully you just heard the end of the fuel pump, and it's just stopped. So we're right by the fuel pump now. Okay, the fuel pump is no longer pumping, so it does seem that things get filled up and it stops. We'll have a quick look and see if we can see a drop or two coming out. Okay, and we do have a drop over there straight away. And now if that's the fuel pump, so we might have a very small leak somewhere. I suspect that the drop that I see, I don't know if we can see it on the camera, but I expect that drop is actually still water. So let's see. Yeah, it doesn't smell of anything, so I think that's okay, but I do keep hearing a little bit of the fuel pump. So we can have a look here, and we've got the fuel pump here. Okay, and there's nothing around here. This is all clean. Okay, so it comes along here, and these are all good, and this is good. Okay, we've got nothing coming out of this overflow. There's another overflow which has its proper pipe on it. It's down here, and I'm just trying to feel there. Right, well, we're going to clean that up a bit and then try again, because my ends came out dirty, but that's lots of oil in there. So we're going to get down there, we're going to clean that up and have another look. And over on this side, the fuel pipe comes along here, so we're going to track that back and see if we can find anywhere that is dirty. But at the moment, there's no obvious leak, is what I'll say. Ow! Oh, ouch! Right, but at the moment there's no obvious leak there. Right, I have the ignition on, and we did hear, hopefully you just heard the end of the fuel pump, and it's just stopped. So we're right by the fuel pump now. Okay, the fuel pump is no longer pumping, so it does seem that things get filled up and it stops. We'll have a quick look and see if we can see a drop or two coming out. Okay, and we do have a drop over there straight away. And now if that's the fuel pump, so we might have a very small leak somewhere. I suspect that the drop that I see, I don't know if we can see it on the camera, but I expect that drop is actually store water. So let's see. Yeah, it doesn't smell of anything, so I think that's okay, but I do keep hearing a little bit of the fuel pump. So we can have a look here, and we've got the fuel pump here. Okay, and there's nothing around here. This is all clean. Okay, so it comes along here, and these are all good, and this is good. Okay, we've got nothing coming out of this overflow. There's another overflow which has its proper pipe on it. It's down here, and I'm just trying to feel there. Right, well, we're going to clean that up a bit and then try again, because my ends came out dirty, but that's lots of oil in there. So we're going to get down there, we're going to clean that up and have another look. And over on this side, the fuel pipe comes along here. So we're going to track that back and see if we can find anywhere that is dirty, but at the moment there's no obvious leak, is what I'll say. Ow! Oh, ouch! Right, but at the moment there's no obvious leak there. So I've been poking around here a bit, and suddenly the pump started going non-stop, and I'm not quite sure why, because I still can't find where it's coming out or anything like that. But the other thing I noticed is that, I don't know if you can see it, my exhaust isn't connected up here, so something else I need to take a look at. So I'm not sure where this petrol is going, but I can hear it pumping. So I'm going to turn it off and have another look. Right, we've got the car up on stands so that we can see under there a bit better. And you can hear the fuel pump going like mad. And we've got paper all over the place, trying to see if we can work out where it might be leaking from. So I'm just going to leave that to run for a little bit whilst I do something else, and see when I get back if I've got a petrol leak somewhere. I mean, the fact that it keeps going would imply I should, but the only place I can see fluid is here, just by the stand, and that's water. So I've got to work out where it is. And you know, it's presumably coming in here, but it doesn't appear to be getting to here, to the fuel filter. I could try tipping this up and seeing if it fills a bit, or but it doesn't appear to be, and that does fill up fairly quickly normally, so that must mean it's somewhere else. Right, let's go and have a quick look down the back right. We can certainly hear it going here. But, I mean, I gave this a bit of a clean. I can't, it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell at all. So I don't know where it's going. I just can't work it out. I've opened up the boot as well to make sure it's not just leaking inside. And it's not. Right, so we're just going to leave. I'm just going to leave that to run for a bit and see if we get a puddle. Okay, so we wondered if it might actually, the place that we saw the oil is actually where this car was normally parked, which is my son's car. And so we thought we would bring that in to see if we could see anything under that. And it sat in the garage for about an hour. And then we thought there was a bit of a smell, having been locked up. We moved the car out of the way, and there was a patch which might have been kind of fuel and other stuff. So what we've done is we've moved cardboard underneath it now. We're going to leave it for a couple of hours, and then we'll have another look, and we'll see if the issue isn't the MG at all, which would be pretty cool from one point of view, because it means I haven't got an issue, and pretty crap from another point of view, because it means I've got a different issue. So we'll have a look. Okay, so the good news, I'm not sure if it's a real definition of good news, but the good news is the fuel leak is on the BMW and not the MG, so I don't need to worry about that. As then I'm looking at this bracket here, and I don't know where this is ever meant to joined up to. There's clearly nothing around here for it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I mean, this looks like it's welded on as well along here. Is that? Yeah, that's in view. So this looks like it's welded on. This bracket is welded onto the exhaust, and the exhaust does seem reasonably secure, but you know, I'm not really happy that it's just loose there. So it's actually loose, just hanging all the way from the front to all the way at the back. In fact, I think it might just be hanging from the manifold the whole way along. I'm not sure that's what it should be. So I might have to have a look at this at some point. But now that I've seen that it's not something that's come off and just slots back in, I guess I'll leave it for the time being. So the question that I've got for myself still is, when I switched on the fuel pump yesterday, so switched on the ignition, fuel pump started but didn't appear to switch off. So I want to try to work out what that is. And I think there are a couple of possibilities. One is I have a leak somewhere, but I couldn't see it coming out anywhere. One is it's trying to pump through but nothing's getting through, so that means I have a blockage or a vacuum somewhere preventing the fuel getting through. Or the third would be that I'm out of fuel again. Now, I find the out of fuel surprising, because I put in 5 litres. And I was surprised the last time, and I've barely run the car since then, as far as I can remember. So if it's burnt through fuel that quickly, it's getting a very, very low rate, so I'm really pumping a lot in. And when I tuned the car, I thought I'd got it about right. So we're going to go back and look at that now. You'll see I've got the ignition on there, and the fuel pump has switched off, so the engine's been running for a little while. fuel pump's now switched off, so I'm wondering if actually for some reason I don't know, some sort of vacuum was created and it couldn't pump it through when it was then trying to push through a little bit or something. I don't know, but that seems to have sorted that issue, so I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm going to ignore it for now as well. So a couple of things to be ignored. What does that mean? What that means is I think I'm going to go for a drive and finish the episode on that so we can see the car out on the road. And having done that, we will move on to the rear suspension. Okay, I've got another question for anybody who might know, but I'm just looking at the exhaust here, and my exhaust pipe is here, clearly. This actually looks like it might be a hanger for it. I mean, you know, this kind of shape here looks like it fits with this. And if you look further along, I've got it in view, if you look further along the car, it looks like the exhaust should run under these and so it looks like that exhaust might be off by a good 6 inches the whole way along. I just wondered if someone could advise me if that's the case, or if I'm misreading something. Thanks.